on 3MP, My Wine and Food with Richard Stockman.
9:12, Richard.
Thanks, John. It's My Produce, brought to you by M&C Seafoods in Preston, 1 to 3 Reserve Street in Preston. Go out there and get all your fresh seafood. And we've got a gentleman called Tyrone Brown on the line. He's got a micro dairy farm out in the Yarra Valley, and his world's suddenly been rocked a little bit in recent months. But look, a very interesting man, a very interesting conversation we've had with him during the week. He's on the line right now. Good morning, Tyrone.
Good morning, Richard.
Thanks for coming on the radio. First time on radio, yes?
That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You got the good deep radio voice, and you're out. Look, you're a man of the land. You're a great Aussie farmer. We've been talking about buy Aussie and being Aussie and supporting Aussie, not just buying, but also just protecting your Aussie industry. And look, your world's been a little bit rocked as of late. Just tell our listeners a little bit about sort of what's happened to you this year.
So we were a small raw milk producer operation. And at the beginning of the year, the government actually decided to put an end to the raw milk sales, which basically shut down our operation, and so that had very significant consequences for not only me and my family, but also a lot of other people who are very passionate raw milk consumers.
There you go. Tyrone, what we just think about, and you say raw milk, now we think, actually I'm thinking about buying a cow, so I'll get you to inform me on that. But you think about just being on the land and you've got a cow, you milk the cow and you drink the milk. So is raw milk, what's your take on raw milk from its freshest form?
Well, for a start, it's incredibly delicious. The comparison is just, it's really quite vast. From when it's coming straight from the cow, all that happens to it is it's filtered and cooled, and yes, it really is, and it's in its full cream state. It's absolutely delicious. But not only that, is we actually believe it's actually very nourishing food and actually healing for a lot of people, which. We have, there's so many comments all the time of people's stories of what raw milk has actually done for them, and particularly with, digestive issues, eczema, asthma, arthritis, even cancer. There's many, many reports of people who have benefited from its consumption. And what I need to really stipulate, Richard, is the importance of regulation around how raw milk is actually produced. And it is actually produced safely in many other countries in the world: Europe, America, New Zealand. They all have wonderful raw milk being sold and consumed and enjoyed by their populations, and it seems that it's getting quite an unfair rap here in Australia.
Well, it's hard to know if we're just over regulated, or look, as a parent myself, and I think any individual will realise the unfortunate thing that happened on the peninsula with the toddler and the raw milk. And I think there's still an inquest into that, so we won't sort of go into that too much. But for you, obviously, new regulations have come in, and look, it does make your business very difficult. Just quickly about yourself, Tyrone. You're a dairy farmer in the Yarra Valley, is that right?
That's right, yes. My background is I'm a fourth-generation dairy farmer, but I actually left the family dairy farm in my 20s and went on to study in the field of natural therapies. And it's my interest in natural therapies that actually led me back into dairy farming years down the track. So, and that's inspired me to create this small operation that it's only a 12-cow dairy, but it was supplying about 180 local families, and they would get their milk on a weekly basis,
yes,
and they would get their milk fresh on the day that it was produced. So
there you go.
Comparing that to milk that you're buying in the shops, I mean, sometimes, milk is almost could be nearly a week old before it even hits the shop.
That's it. So. Well, Tyrone, we're out of time. Tyrone Brown, look, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and certainly email me, richard@stockmanwines.com.au, and we'll certainly get you more feedback with Tyrone. He can answer some of the questions if you want them answered. But thanks for being on the program this morning, Tyrone.
Yeah, my pleasure, Richard. And there are a couple of upcoming events happening. There's a raw milk panel discussion happening in Collingwood on Wednesday, the 17th of June, and that's open to the public. And the petition is actually being tabled in Parliament on Thursday, the 25th of June. So we'd like to stimulate a bit of discussion around this issue.
Very important. What I will do, Tyrone, I'll actually post that up on a few different medium places. But thanks very much for being on this morning, Tyrone Brown.
3MP, My Wine and Food, on a My Lifestyle Saturday morning.
1377 3MP.
On the couch, we've got Karen Docherty on the line. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Richard.
What a fascinating show all about milk and dairy.
I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good show. And look, milk is for life, and it's is very important in all its different forms. And actually, John and I were saying there's so much you do, not just with milk, but also with wine. There's so much technical stuff behind everything else. Look, it's good sometimes to get to the raw state, isn't it?
Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, you see this product, milk, cheese, yogurt, and you don't realise in so many industries that it's used and for so many health purposes.
That's it. No, so much health. Is there truth in the statement, dairy for well-being?
Look, absolutely. 70% of our immunity stems from our gut. A healthy gut is related to a healthy diet, and with that, a healthy microflora. And as Mindy mentioned, at birth you have a certain microflora, and you've got to maintain a healthy diet to keep that flora going. A lot of health conditions are affected by not having a healthy gut. And even allergies can affect how you feel, your mood, or feeling irritable. So a lot of research has been conducted as far as allergens go and healthy gut.
Wow, there you go. Pretty important, isn't it? I guess. Look, you actually mentioned to me, and I know Claire Saundry. She's not going to be on for a couple of weeks at the moment to do a family thing. But look, we talked about antibiotics, and also things like probiotics are quite good as well, aren't they?
Oh, look, certainly. I mean, when you've been on antibiotics for a while, that upsets. It only works on your system to help with the condition that you've got. It actually acts on the enzymes to stop, further growth of whatever bacteria you may have. Probiotics replenishes when you've been on antibiotics, your gut microflora is compromised. Therefore, probiotics actually help rebuild the microflora, but then again, you've got to maintain it with a healthy diet. Yeah,
that's right. So, do go to your doctor, and everyone's a bit different, so try, I guess, different things out as well. And Andrew Miller just said, too, as well, that, leading up to a certain age, that you sort of find out what's good for you, what's bad for you, and everyone is a little bit different. But now, the concentration of vitamins and minerals in dairy is something to do with animal feeding and manufacturing. Tyrone was going to get into that a little bit more, the processes. But certain overseas interests would see Australia as having stringent quality control practice from the farm to the bottle. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I really think that puts Australia and Australian businesses in a very good place, because we have these stringent quality control processes, and therefore we're seen as reliable, safe, and even consistent source of healthy produce. Look, depending on where the particular cow used and what it's fed on, whether it's pasture or grain, as Tyrone has mentioned previously, really affects the protein content. There's been a lot of controversy about A1, A2 in milk, which are proteins. And I think Australian produce with A2 milk has been accepted in overseas countries such as the USA recently. And A2 milk-based protein is more easily digested, and as Tyrone mentioned through the week to us, a lot of the old-fashioned cows that we had here had more of the A2 protein. And also, interesting about raw milk is that raw milk actually has those digestive enzymes in the milk that help with digestion. Therefore, there's a lot of interest as far as allergies go, because it's the digestive enzymes in pasteurised milk that's not always there as much as some people may need.
Okay, well, what's to stick with us, Karen? We'll just go to a song, but we'll also say why milk has been linked to a good night's sleep, but we'll get back to you shortly.
On 3MP, My Wine and Food on a My Lifestyle Saturday morning.
1377 3MP.
Karen Docherty, you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Good on you, Karen. Just before we do go, it's been a really packed show, hasn't it?
Oh, my word.
Now, how can milk help you get a good night's sleep?
We're always looking for natural mechanisms like diet to help us sleep and to keep us in a more relaxed form. And one of the proteins, or more so, proteins are made up of building blocks called amino acids. And within milk and cheese and a number of other food products is an amino acid called tryptophan. And it has been linked to feelings of elevated mood, less depressed mood, and therefore better sleep. It's certainly not a replacement for medical help if that's required.
No. Well, Karen, we've actually run out of time now, but what a great show.
Fast, Richard.
And put the milk on the Wheaties, not just the morning, but in the evening to help you sleep. But thanks very much for being on the program this morning, Karen Docherty.